tend to see it as raw as this.
Good evening and welcome.
Okay, so you just watched Judge Mark Wyndham telling the defense attorneys for Bob Durst that they stipulated to all of this pre-recorded testimony coming in, to a lot of what was said coming into evidence. They're now objecting to that. So the judge was laying down the law with them and saying, look, you said it could come in. You waived your right to contest all of this. So very interesting stuff. It seems that the defense has been objecting to a lot of this testimony that was pre-recorded, that they've had a chance to review, even though they agreed to let it be pre-recorded and come in the way that it is. I want to bring in defense attorney Jeffrey Wolf from Denver, Colorado. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us for Night Court tonight. We really appreciate it. What do you make of that? Would you have permitted, if you were representing Bob Durst, and I'm asking you to be a Monday morning quarterback here, but this is what we do. Would you have permitted all of this pre-recorded testimony to be used at trial?
Well, 100% no. It would not have been my preference, and it would not be something that I would look to stipulate to. But what we heard from Bob Durst's attorney right there when the judge was telling him, you stipulated to this, you waived your right to object to this, is he said, I stipulated to it based on your rulings on other issues, that I didn't have a choice but to let the right stuff come in from these pre-recorded testimonies because you were going to let them in. And if I hadn't stipulated to something that was going to be advantageous to our defense, it would have all just come in, is basically what he was just saying. And the judge basically didn't have an answer for it other than to get sarcastic, tell him it's a stipulation, and then say goodbye. And so I'm guessing that there's more at play here, that these lawyers didn't just agree that all of this was coming in, that there was a reason and a method to their madness based on the court's rulings. Because when the court makes certain rulings pre-trial, it's going to affect what you're able to do during the trial. And so I think that that's probably what happened here.
All right, that was Dr. Keith Klein describing a number of health issues that Robert Durst is living with right now. Robert Durst obviously is not a healthy man. He's an ill man. You can just tell by looking at him. He's very frail. However, we also see him do things in court, like stand up and get out of that wheelchair to kind of stretch his legs and wave at people. So it's a very interesting thing to listen to all of these awful health problems that he has, but then see him do that. Let's bring Jeff Wolf back in to talk about this. Jeff, what do you make of this? He obviously is a very sick man, but we see him get up and wave to people and say things. So it's kind of hard. I mean, because he is obviously assisting with his defense. It's hard for me to think that he can't get up there and testify. I mean, obviously his voice is very bad.
Yeah, and I think that there's a big difference between being able to assist in your own defense and being able to think and know what's going on and being able to physically handle the rigors of testifying. Because when he gets up there, he's going to get up there first with his lawyer, right? And they're going to question him for however long they do it. My guess is they would keep it fairly short, around 30 minutes to an hour at the most.
Oh, wow.
But what they don't get to control is what Lewin does on cross-examination. And that is where the physical rigor of testifying comes into play, is that he is going to be sitting there playing mental tennis with a worthy adversary who is hell-bent on hanging him from the highest tree. The stress that is going to cause on his cardiovascular system, on everything that is associated with what is keeping his body alive while it's eating itself from the inside, is astounding. And you regularly see people get off the stand and need a minute, need a drink of water, need to get some fresh air, need some Advil, need some Tylenol, whatever it may be. It is something that you see on a regular basis for somebody who has just sat through a lengthy and contentious cross-examination. Even professional witnesses, expert witnesses, police officers, they get off from a tough cross-examination and it has physically affected them. His ability to stand up, maybe he just needs to stretch his legs, who the heck knows, given his medical condition. But his ability to stand up for moments at a time or pipe up with a sentence here or there does not mean that he is going to be able to physically handle 1, 2, 3, God knows how many hours of cross-examination.
And the judge, he said he's going to take this motion for a mistrial, this latest one, under advisement, and he'll rule at another time, at a later time. So we're just going to have to wait and see what the judge decides. He's denied all of the other requests for a mistrial up until this point. So it'll be interesting to see what he does now that Durst is actually on board with this. and has wanted to testify, but now says he supports this request. So we need to take a quick break. We want to get you back into court. That will be starting again soon, but stay with us here on the Law and Crime Trial Network. You are watching Night Court.